What up, everyone? It's your boy, Scalloway Exam, and just coming off my recent video, if UFC were to use steroids or allowed that to happen, check it out if you want. I started thinking to myself, Brock Lesnar left too early in the sport, and there's one fight that always eluded him. Him versus Fedor Emelianenko. I might have mispronounced that. Now, those two are always tied to one another, and they're on a collision course. There was rumors that Dana wanted to get them together. It never worked out. And I think to myself, if they were to fight, who would actually win? So I'm about to break it down for you. Let's start with Fedor, the last emperor. Remember, this guy was out in Japan doing his thing in pride, and he was on a 27 fight win streak. That's the longest or best streak in MMA ever heard of. He was beating up the who's who on the list: the Nogueira brothers, Kevin Randleman, sorry, Mark Coleman, Gary Goodridge, Hung Man Choi, Matt Lindman, Andre Arlovsky. He was just taking guys out. And it started looking like he was fading a bit when he started getting to Strikeforce and he faced Brett Rogers. He was close. But then it came down to Mauricio Verdum. That was coming out of nowhere, and I remember watching it, so shocked. It shocked the waves completely. But remember, prior to all that, he was a monster. He boasted great judo throws and sambo, so his ground game was amazing. Submissions were on point, and you saw a lot of his wins were coming off that. A lot of things like submission of rear naked chokes, arm bars, kimuras, so forth. But it wasn't just that. He was close to one of being the most completed mixed martial arts. He blended everything pretty well. Aggressive boxing. He was able to dominate people. And it's crazy because when you look at him, he looks like some dude that just came off, drinking a couple beers, off his chair and ready to go fight. But he's been doing it for a long time. It was insane. It kind of sucked to see him in Strikeforce kind of go down on the decline. And then losing to Verdum, Antonio Silva, Dan Henderson. He racked up a couple more wins, but then again, Matt Mitrione, Ryan Bader, and so forth. It was definitely a falling of an era, and he had this aura that he was the best ever. So naturally, when it came to Brock Lesnar leaving WWE, going to UFC, there were a lot of comparisons. Brock did his thing as well. You can't ignore that. He first started in Japan, and he beat Min-Soo Kim. Then he had his debut with Frank Mir. That was a bit of a fluke on that submission that Frank got, but hey, he got it. The next one, he beat up Heath Herring, and hey, just one punch, and he knocked this guy out. It just showed that Brock was a physical specimen. The power he had, the natural athleticism, it was just there. It just needed to be polished. And that was the story of him. He did get a win over Randy Couture, but remember, Randy Couture had a good game plan as well. Avenge that Frank Mir loss. That comeback win against Shane Carwin, amazing. Then when he started to go against Cain Velasquez, and then lastly, Alistair Overeem, he started getting that diverticulitis and just a decline. Brock was basically an example of raw, pure athleticism and talent that just needed to be polished. So I definitely think that if he had more time to develop his game, he could have been up there. But at their both peak power, whether Brock was on the roids or Fedor had the Russian mafia or mob paying off people, I definitely think Fedor would beat him up. Ultimately, I think Fedor has a more complete game with the submissions, the ground game, the hip tosses, sambo as well, and the aggressive boxing style. He could have finished Brock easily, and it would have dispelled everything. It sucks it never got together. That's a dream fight that we will never ever see, but I definitely think Fedor would have got him on that one. And man, that would have been a crazy pay-per-view. My money would have just gone to UFC. Anyways, that's something I definitely wanted to see back then, and I always thought about it. But I also think that what if Fedor was still in this time and he was fighting some of these guys? Would he still do well? Would he favor against a lot of these guys? I don't know. What did you think? Do you think Fedor could have beat Brock or could have been the other way around? Let me know. Comment below. Hit that like. Smash that subscribe. Like your Khabib. And again, stay into the next one.